There are two kinds of people in this world. The people who fail to do what they know they should, and those who keep doing things they know they shouldn't. Guess what? You're both. Hi, I'm your host, life and business coach, Marcy Barker, aka your loving kick in the pants. In this podcast, I'll teach you the 6 steps of my accountability code that will help you wake up with clarity and show up with aligned action steps that make follow through easy and peaceful. All right, let's jump in.
Hello, my beautiful people. I'm so excited to have Amber Myers. I say it that way because she's my best friend. I say her name lots of different ways. But Amber, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. This is your very first podcast. Are you so excited?
Yes, I'm super nervous.
Can you hear that? She's not excited at all. I dragged her in here. Okay, so Amber and we met. You looked it up. What day did we meet?
August 10th, 2016.
That's like 7 years ago.
I know.
Super crazy. Amber does my lashes. So if you guys ever see me in social media, it's her work. Minus that short time where she was like, I'm quitting, I'm doing something else. And I'm like, you abandoned me when I needed you the most. But I forgive you. So
hey, I referred you to somebody really awesome though. So
yeah, but you're the best.
Oh,
we already know that. Okay, so tell us about your stage of life. Tell us how you put me in first place as best friend. And tell me why you're so excited to be here.
That's a lot of things. Okay, so I'm a mom of a 3.5-year-old, and her name's Mia. She's so feisty, and she's like my little twin, pretty much like all the way. I swear, I'm in for it when she's a teen. But I'm married, been married for almost 9 years, and do lashes out of my house, and I've been doing that for 12 years. And I learned how to do permanent makeup. I'm not the best at it, and I don't know, I'm too hard on myself a lot, so I always like second guess myself. So that one's been more on the back burner, but I love getting to do lashes and not having all the stress and the anxiety with it. Like, it's easier to fix, and like I love just getting to see when people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so ugly, don't look at my face, and then they get done and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so beautiful, and I'm like, it's just a couple lashes glued onto your eyes. But I'm so glad that just that little thing can like boost somebody's confidence.
Yeah, it definitely helps mine.
And I only have to say that because of your post about like,
oh yeah, lashes
don't give you confidence.
Yeah, it's true, but it helps when you like what you see, but recognizing that who you are is really based on how you show up, and not just how you look.
It reminds me of with like plastic surgery. So I had my nose done, and I was talking to a girl, and she was like, so you're gonna get your nose done, and then what? And she's like, are you going to be happy when you get to that point? And I was like, yeah, because then I'm going to love my nose. So I'm going to love myself. And then I got done and I was like, well, I mean, there's like this little spot that I don't like, and I kind of want to do lipo and like this and this and this. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. And I'm like, that's kind of how it is with lashes. If you don't love yourself just because you get lashes, it doesn't mean you're going to love yourself after it's done. Mm-hmm. You have to actually be like, okay, I look good, but I have to actually believe it and feel it. It's not just, looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an expensive way to guess if you like yourself or not, let's go get my nose done or my lashes. But I remember Amber had never been to a retreat until I was like, you're coming with me. I'm speaking at this one. And it was extremely transformational, big time. And the retreat was awesome. But from somebody who plans a lot of retreats, that one was like overboard emotional work, and it was draining for everybody at the house. And so I was like, Amber, are you okay? Like we uncovered a lot.
Yeah.
Not just individually, but like together and processing stuff. So how has your life been changed from engaging in retreats or this deeper level of awareness?
I feel like it's opened up this whole new world for me. I didn't realize how much anxiety I get about going and meeting new people.
Yeah.
So I've always been pretty extroverted to an extent. Like, I'm not Marcy level of extroverted. I'm Amber level of extroverted. But I like to go out and meet new people and stuff. And I like to be the center of attention at some points, but only when it's my choice to be the center of attention. Like, if somebody calls on me and is like, Amber, get up and talk about this, I'm like, I'm going to go bright red and I'm going to sit back in my chair and hide because I don't want that. But if I'm like, oh, let me try to be funny to get the attention or something like that, I like that. So with going to the retreat, this is so new. I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what's going on. I've never been to one, never really heard of one. And so I was like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know what to expect. And like realized, man, I really do like to kind of be in control of things, even if I can't. And so then it was like, I have to completely give up control. And I was like, okay, just trust Marcy, which was the only reason I didn't quit and didn't like, I'm not going. I was like, Marcy said, hey, you should come do this with me. So I really like doing stuff with Marcy, so I'm just going to do it.
I've never led you astray, right?
No.
Yeah, that makes me feel good. Well, Amber and I, we went to that retreat, and like I said, it was very heavy, and we were just unpacking a lot of stuff. And Amber and I have a lot of similarities in our parents. And on the way home, I don't know if it was you or me, but I was like, we got to agree to not talk crap on our parents anymore. Like, we had a whole weekend of it, and we were like, that's enough. There's a lot that we can forgive them for, but also recognize like we're not going to do that to our kids in the same way. So I think that was really cool. I was thinking the other day though, because Amber has always had a best friend that's not me, and I've always been okay with that. But I also was like, it's that situation where it's like, yeah, I'm your best friend, but I'm like, happy for you. Yeah. But Amber and I have become really close, even closer. I mean, I've considered you one of my best friends for a very long time. But I was thinking, if we had MySpace still, I'd be, number one, top 8.
Hey listeners, the message of waking up and showing up is yours for the taking. In fact, it's free. I've recorded my entire audiobook and I'd love for you to consume it between episodes. Head to marcybarker.com to get instant access to the accountability code Wake Up and Show Up. All right, let's jump back in.
Okay, and another background. Amber was one of my first clients when I started doing life coaching, because I had switched from personal training and nutrition. And actually, when I wanted to get my lashes done for the first time, I had texted her because a mutual neighbor told me about Amber, and I asked her, I said, can I add you on Facebook? And I look up Amber on Facebook, and she sells Herbalife. And I was like, like, oh, great. Because I was in, my personal training and nutrition business, I was so against all the drinks, all the wraps, all the shakes. And I just was like, that's okay. I'm just going to get my lashes done. And so, I mean, we could talk about all of that, but I got to a point in my business where it wasn't about nutrition. It wasn't about personal training. And there was a lot of growth that needed to happen. And so we did like a life coaching package. And I think that's when we like sealed the deal on our friendship, because
it was amazing. Like, it helped me. I didn't realize how much help I needed in my business. And I was doing it to help me. Like, at first I was like, I just want to be healthy. I'm tired of feeling overweight. I'm tired of feeling drained. So I was like, Marcy, like, let's do this. What do you offer? And so you're like, let's do this one. So I said, okay, let's do that. And then as soon as we get going on it, you're like, well, tell me about your business. And I was like, I'm so stressed because I have people canceling. I have people no-showing. I have this and this and this. And you're like, okay, then let's go over that. And like, it was so nice to have you be like, let's set this all out and have this whole list of things. And I knew what to expect every single week. So I knew what questions you were going to ask, so I could prepare and have not the right answer, but actually tell the truth and not like pull something out of my butt that day because it sounded nice. Like, it was like, okay, I have homework and I'm going to work at this. And so it helped me with my business. And then once I found out I was pregnant, it was preparing to be a mom, because that was terrifying. And then also with my husband and just being able to communicate and stuff like that. Yeah.
And even though the accountability code didn't exist back then, it still was a journey of being honest with yourself. And I mean, Herbalife was one of those things that you're like, you know what? I have a confession. Like, I get diarrhea from that. And I'm like, why are you selling it? And you're like, I don't know. I'm trying to be healthy. But you were just another person trying to get well, trying all of the things and trying to find that solution that was going to work for you. So I kind of was like, yay, she's done selling that. But not because I'm against that, but it was, you took a new level of honesty with yourself and your situation. And it was beautiful to witness. I don't think that was the exact thing, but I do remember when we were sitting in your salon and I just was like crying because I was like, you've come so far. I'm so proud of you. And we were just like crying together. And anyway, that was life-changing for me. And it just is awesome to have friends that are willing to be honest. Mm-hmm. It's like when we talk about, oh, this girl did this or this girl did this, you know, it's just kind of the funny stuff to laugh at. But a lot of problems just come from people not being honest with themselves, and they choose to show up in a way that's just not consistent or authentic, and that can rub people the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, remember you had that friend that lived with you? Mm-hmm. And she talked crap on me?
No, I don't remember any of that. That's in a vault locked away. Yes, that was...
But like learning how to set boundaries within your business did a lot for your own personal life too.
Yes.
So
yeah, that was, I feel like, a huge thing for me, because I was able to see that I don't have to help people in order for me to like myself. Because a lot of times when I like try to help people to be nice, because I think that's going to make me feel better, I end up kind of screwing myself over.
Yeah.
And so it was like, you helped me see that too. And that's what I would do with my business. I was like, I don't need to raise my prices because I'm not getting paid, but my clients are happy. So that's what matters. And you were like, I'm going to smack you upside the book. Like, you need to be able to make money and still love what you do. And I was like, wait, you mean I can love what I do and still make money? I didn't think that was possible. I thought like when they say like, oh, a dream job, it's literally that. It's a dream. So you don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, and I was glad that we got a lot of stuff in place before you had Mia. Mm-hmm. Because then there's a whole dynamic of being a mother and having your child at home and having clients come into your home. And yeah, firing clients is like a fun thing for us now. I'm like, who? Let's text her right now. Right. So setting boundaries is really, really big. So obviously you're like one of my biggest supporters. What did you think about the book when it came out? And the audiobook. I guess you kind of use the audiobook a lot more.
Yeah, because I got the book from you, and then I went home and started reading it, like, I think that night or the next day or something like that. And I sat there for like 4 hours just reading and reading and reading. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think I would like it, because I can't get into books. I'm just too like, my mind is going crazy. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I really like this. And then your audiobook came out and I was like, yes, I can listen to this while I'm driving, and then it actually became almost like my meditation at night. I would put my headphones in at night when I was laying down, and it would be, I'd fall asleep after hearing, well, no, actually, because like your voice was, I'd have to speed it up. Yeah, it was slow for your talking.
Yes, I had to really control myself recording that book.
And that was very weird to listen to. So I sped it up to Marcy level of speeding. And then I read it or listened to it, and it was like, okay. And then I'd get done with the chapter and I'd be like, I really want to listen to the next, but it's midnight and I have to be up at 6 a.m. and I need to go to sleep. And then I'd go to sleep and I would be fine. I wouldn't have like all the crazy thoughts in my head and stuff like that. I would just kind of try to I would almost drift off to the last thing I just listened to. Yeah. And so that was really nice. But I also felt like I had to hurry and listen to it and get done with it, because we were going to that retreat together that you were going to be sharing the accountability code. And I'm like, how am I going to go to this retreat and be like, I'm her best friend, but I haven't read the book or I haven't listened to it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be bad. So I think I stayed up until probably 3 or 4 in the morning one night, just listening to the rest of it. And it was like 2 or 3 days before we went. Yeah. And then I was like, I can say I listened to your book. I'm the best friend.
I always joke that I tell people, get the audiobook so you can listen to me talk all day long, because I know that that's what you want. But no, it's been fun to bring you on this journey, because obviously you helped me grow as a person too. So it's been nice to just go through all the dirty stuff with somebody. You can cry, because I'm going to cry too. was on, anyway, I had a reason to get into therapy, and I was processing this stuff that I needed to get over and kind of prepare for the future because it's not quite over. And my therapist was like, do you have a support system? I know you have tons of followers and tons of clients, but do you have a support system? And I was like, Amber. I was like, Amber is always there.
Oh, you called me that day after that therapy session, and that like had me in tears. I was like, oh, I've always had like a best friend growing up, but I feel like I stayed best friends with her because it was expected and I was comfortable, I guess. And like she knew me and she knew all my secrets. And so if I unfriend her, she's going to tell everybody my secrets. So it kind of was a very bad dynamic for me. And I mean, there was goods that came with it too. And we stopped being friends and then became friends again. But that's always made me so scared to say best friend about anybody. And like, I've had people that I've been like, you're like, my best friend. And I'm like, like my anxiety is through the roof. And you're sitting here saying I'm your best friend. And I'm like, oh, great. So are you going to stab me in the back? Are you expecting me to like give you free stuff? Like what comes with it? And that's not how you've been at all. Like you've been the complete opposite. And like, I feel bad because I'm like, I'm not going to take advantage of you. Because you'll be like, I'll do, the best friend deal. And I'm like, no, I'm paying you full price because I'm your best friend and I should. I'm like,
haven't you learned anything? You need to make money.
And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like you're a totally different person than I think a lot of people see, because I get to see those walls down and there's nothing scary about you. Like once I got to know like you, I mean, you're very outgoing and so you'll show yourself, but I felt like, oh, it's probably like a front, but that's not how you are at all. Like there's no hidden things behind you. So.
Except for Amber knows all of my sexy secrets. She knows all the stories about my marriage and I won't say fantasies because they're not really fantasies, but Amber knows all of my secrets.
Well, don't worry, because most of the time I forget what any of them are. So.
Well, I think it makes me feel not bad, but it makes me feel sad for people who don't have a best friend.
Mm-hmm. But like a genuine best friend.
Somebody who they can talk about all these things. Mm-hmm. And and
not feel judged.
And this thing that made me want to get into therapy, that was the same time that you were taking a break from lashes. And so I joke that you abandoned me, but I'm like, no, I had to freaking put like magnetic lashes on and I probably looked like a hot mess. But there was that period of I was going through a lot of hard things and I didn't feel like I could talk about them. And so I think you and I have the beauty of picking up wherever we need to. Mm-hmm. And I always know that even if I'm not putting in the work or I'm super busy, it's like I can always just be like, hey, how is it going? And it's like we never went anywhere. So
I think it had been a long time since, it had probably been months since we talked and stuff. And I knew you had said you were going to Guatemala, and I was just one day I was like driving and I think I like drove past your house and I was like, I need to text Marcy. Is she okay? And I had messaged you and you were like, I'm really having a hard time. And I was like, wow, like for us to not talk for so many months, but then still to have that like connection of like me being able to feel that like you needed something, even though you were so far away. Mm-hmm. And I was like, at first I was like, maybe it's just me being like, she's in a completely different place, so she's not close. So I'm like lost, Marcy's gone kind of a thing. But it was like to know that you were having a hard time. And it was like, you've always been so like strong. And so just like you got your head on straight and stuff like that. So to know that like you were having a hard time, I was like, oh my gosh, you're human.
Yeah.
And like, it kind of just made it where I was like, okay, I can actually accept that we're best friends. Because I was like, I can't be your best friend. You're way too good to be my best friend. Like,
I have high standards.
Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm so low on that pole. Like, there's no way that you want me as a best friend. So then it was like, wow, okay, you are. Like, it's what kind of.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting too, because some people picked up on me being depressed when I was gone in Guatemala, because I still was like, gotta be relevant, show up in social media, but I'd post like depressing reels, but still like in a joking manner, because it's hard to share the truth when you're going through something that's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do a really great job, but I still, like, when you were at that other event that we put on, another one, my client, and I just was like, I'm sorry I haven't been there for you. Like, I don't even know what's going on, but I feel like staggered. It's like, if I'm doing good, you probably need something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing good, then I probably need something. And I think it's just really beautiful to just be like, this is how true friendship is.
Mm-hmm.
When you can go through whatever things you're dealing with and still have somebody that's going to accept you and your efforts. You know, because there's that whole thing of like, I'm tired of being the one to reach out and I'm the one putting in all the work. And it's like, that can be true and it can be extremely draining. But at the same time, it's like the real people are not going to let you put in so much effort and not reciprocate it with honest feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we don't have to go out and, I mean, I had another friend that it was the same thing. I was like, she's one of my best friends, but I have no idea if I'm her best friend. I don't even know. And then it just got to a point where it's like, I was the one reaching out and I just was like, you know what? She can't even respond and tell me, here's a reason why I haven't talked to you or whatever. It's because we just need realness in our life. So yeah, it makes me feel sad for people who don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that maybe for listeners, if you feel like you don't have a best friend, there's probably a level of honesty that could be unlocked to have that connection with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's hard. I mean, our conversation on the drive down, I was like, by the time we're done with this retreat, you're probably going to hate me because that's what my brain is like processing.
Yeah, this whole conversation.
And you were like, what? No. And it's like, okay, like I can actually tell you that, where I feel like other people, I wouldn't have been able to say that, or they would have gotten mad and been like, oh, what? You just think I'm a selfish whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not it. It's that like I'm in my anxiety and like I'm in my head and I'm trying to figure out. So instead of just holding it in, it's like, okay, I know I can talk to you, which is huge. And you have to be able to do that with friends.
Yeah. And when we went to that first retreat together, there was that whole conversation about being an empath and being an anchor. And I don't know if I've shared this maybe on my episode with Nicole. You guys can go back and look at it. But we talked about like, I'm an anchor. So I have a grounding superpower that helps people feel more comfortable. But as a result, I'm not very aware of people's emotions or like when they're struggling, or I just don't come into people's space unless I'm invited. And at that retreat, you were like, holy crap, I am an empath. Like I didn't know that these things were affecting me until somebody had taught you. So I think that was really powerful for us to be like, that's probably a really good way that we work together as well. Not just anchor and empath as opposites or connections, but like you understanding you at a deeper level and me understanding me at a deeper level too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we have the whole church conversation. And it's like, I absolutely love our friendship and how it is. So listeners, Amber was raised LDS and has just made a choice to be like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And our parents have both put a lot of not weird beliefs, just very like, do it, be obedient, don't question anything.
Yes.
And I'm not going to live it, but I'm going to tell you that you have to.
Yeah.
So we did go on that kick of whose dad is worse.
Yeah. I know.
Like we love our parents,
yes.
but we understand the damage they've done. So, you know, my dad used to say, so I got married at 18 and had babies very quickly. You know, I had 4 kids by the time I was 24. And when all of my friends were getting married, I already had 2 babies. And so we're at bridal showers and bachelorette parties and people are talking about all this birth control. And I was like, I'm not on birth control because my dad taught me no birth control, self-control. And I'm like, okay, Dad, that's why you have 8 kids. But all right. And he taught me that if you limit God, AKA with birth control, then God's going to limit you. So it's just like, I had this whole belief that infertility was because you sinned and all of this. And so Amber going through your experiences and sharing it, like it has really opened my mind because I used to be a very judgmental person. I checked all the boxes. I found my return missionary, I got married in the temple, I had babies, and I was doing what I thought was right. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I am so glad that I've been able to strip the judgment that I was taught to have. Maybe not on purpose, but you know. And so anyway, Amber's story has always been like, she's a really good person, and who cares if she goes to church?
See, and I was always like, I struggled to get pregnant. It took us 4 years to get pregnant with Mia. And my dad was like, if you went to church, you would probably get pregnant. And I was furious with that. And that's not a good way to think, because just because you go to church doesn't mean you're going to get everything you ever want in life.
Right.
There's things that just make it where it's not easy to get pregnant. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong in your life and you're being punished. And that's how I always felt. And so I was like, oh, because I wasn't this and this and this, that's why I couldn't have my daughter. And so once I finally was able to have her and stuff, it was okay. It's
You're
not
like,
about
Dad, I didn't even go to church.
It's not about like if I'm good enough or if God thinks I'm good enough or this and that. It's about like, I needed her when I needed her in my life. Mm-hmm. And if I had her before, I probably would have been a really crappy mom. And who knows, I might be a crappy mom now. She'll probably say that when she's 16 or 6 or whatever age they start saying it. But for now, I know that no matter what, like, I love my daughter unconditionally, and I can show her that because I've seen what I don't want to be like as a mom. And it's nice to know that church doesn't have to play a part in somebody being happy, or like, that's just more of a guide, I guess.
Or even the friends that you have. Yeah. Like, because that's also another big thing of like raising kids. You need to have good friends and blah, blah. And it's like, you need friends who are going to back you up. You need friends who are going to be honest. You're going to need friends who encourage you to be a better person, a more honest person. So I'm just glad that we are like 100% okay with where we're at. And there's nothing wrong with it.
And I love hearing your, like, reading your book and having just all your stuff talking about your kids and how you doing instead of the chore chart, having what is it called?
Oh, the contributions.
Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, that's amazing. Like, I love how just changing a couple little things will just completely change people's outlook on it. And I was like, I want to be like Marcy when I grow up. And you're only a year older than me. But I'm like, I want to be a mom like Marcy.
You seem older than me. I think I'm always confused when you're younger than me.
I just have an old soul.
You're more mature than I am.
Well, that, yes.
In some ways. But
you can have more fun than I can.
That's debatable. What would you say to listeners who maybe feel sad they don't have a best friend? What advice would you give them to invite that into their lives?
Add Marcy as a friend on Facebook or social media.
Between us.
Yes. And I will win at this one. I will beat somebody up if I have to. No, if you can win Marcy as a best friend, then that's fine. You deserve it. But no, I actually have found that a lot of people will pop up on my Facebook and it'll be like, people you may know. And then I look and it says friends with Marcy and I'm like, add.
Okay.
So that's what I would say to do. I know it's hard when people aren't extroverts. And so it's like, if you aren't, then try to find a way to like join a group, join lady bosses, join, whatever, see if you're a boss. But if, join groups and see what you can do, and then step out of that comfort zone for a minute just to like talk to people. Yeah. And say, this is what I need.
I think there was that Instagram reel that was like, your clients will become your friends a lot faster than your friends will become your clients. And I think that's really important too, is that if you are in a space that, because who gets together in a friend group and like, hey, let's go out and see if we want to be friends. It's like, that doesn't happen very often. There are some Facebook groups for that. Yeah. But it's, if you put yourself in a place of personal development and you surround yourself with people who have those similar goals, you're going to find some really awesome friends a lot sooner than if you're looking to check all the boxes on what you think a best friend is. Yeah. So just being the best version of yourself and being honest with what you want. I don't know.
I'd also say probably lowering expectations. I definitely had, before it was like, I can't be friends with Marcy, she's Mormon. Oh. And so I was like, that's cool. You can come to me, get your lashes done. We'll have great conversations and I'll learn great things from you. But like, you're Mormon and I don't want to be. So we can't be friends. And it was like, that is not true at all. And so getting to go to that retreat, I feel like we like completely like broke down that wall and just went to like a total different level of friendship. And it was like, okay, there's no judgment in it. And that's what was needed. And it's okay if there is judgment too. And it's okay for you to tell me like, Amber, you're being really stupid right now. And like, if you can't say that to a friend, then are you really friends?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't ever say that. I just ask you really smart questions.
I know. And then I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
just take a nap.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Well, I am so glad to have you here, and you're trying to help out, and I'm like, just go have fun. But
right.
Anyway,
I don't know how to do that.
Well,
I know.
Stop.
It's different. It's really nice knowing there's so many days, because I was like, that means that I can help with this amount of stuff, but I actually still get time to relax and talk to people and get to like do things too, and not feel like it's just, go, work.
Yeah.
So I've been needing it.
Yeah. Quit trying to pay for my food. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm here to treat you. Don't be trying to buy my lunch.
I did not fill your car with gas, by the way.
That's okay. Don't. You better not. It's all tax write-off if I use the right card. Mm-hmm. So, well, I love you. Thanks for being on my podcast.
Yeah.
Hey friends, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. If you got any value out of this episode, I would love for you to drop me a review or share with a friend what you learned. All right, I'll see you next Wednesday for Your Loving Kick in the Pants.